if you're designing a new product, then traditionally one of the most important criterion is cost. And you work out the cost of a product by taking every little element, the raw material cost, the production cost, the finishing cost, the packaging cost, the distribution cost. You add those all up and that's your total cost, a financial audit. If you want to do something from the environmental viewpoint, you take the eco cost of each thing. It's the same thing again. You take the raw material, that's got a CO2 footprint, the firing, the costing, the moulding, whatever it might be, the packaging, the distribution, and you add them all up together, and just the same way as you add up a financial cost to get for the accountant, you add them up and you get a CO2 footprint cost for the CO2 footprint for that new product which you've created. You have to consider your object from its birth and all the raw materials that go into making it, the actual manufacture, does it have any carbon footprint in use, and then at the end of its life, the disposal of it. It has a carbon footprint. All these different areas have to be analysed. You have, let's say, a 5-year projected lifetime, and there's a carbon footprint. Well, you can divide the carbon footprint by 5 to get it per year of CO2. If it lasts for 20 years, you divide the carbon by 20. So you've got a far better handle on how much CO2 pollution it's creating. And how do you do this? Well, one way you can go through history. You can look at published carbon footprints, published eco-audits and see what other people have done, but they'll be fairly few and far between. They're hard to discover, hard to find. But one simple thing you can do is you can go to the raw material supplier. If it's a plastic raw material, for example, go to the raw material supplier and say, hey, I know exactly what the cost of this stuff is, and you've told me exactly about how well it will mould into a new product, but what's its carbon footprint? And if they're a decent supplier, they will know exactly what the carbon footprint per moulded kilo of their product might be. Brilliant. That is going to get them business, and it's going to get you business, because if you know what the answers are, people are going to buy your product. And that's what we have to get into students today. That's what we have to get into colleges today. And one of the biggest issues is that the majority of colleges don't have eco-experts. They don't have somebody the students can go straight to and say, look, how do I measure this carbon footprint of this gizmo that I'm creating? How can I do that? And that's one of the biggest challenges, I think, for designers, for design colleges for the next 15 years. And whether you go to work for a manufacturing company, a distribution company, a car company, or whatever you do, you're going to work for them, and somebody at that place is going to say to you, what is the carbon footprint of this new product you're designing? Can you compare for us, please, these two new products we're going to put onto the marketplace? Which has the smaller carbon footprint? You can't turn around as a designer and say, I don't know, call in an eco-expert. It's part of the design criterion. It's part of the designer's toolbox. It should be this ability to say which of these products, these materials, these systems has got the lower carbon footprint. I would love to see is a website, for example, where you can go as a designer and say, I'm going to make this out of 34 grams of aluminium, or 28 grams of polycarbonate, or 320 grams of polystyrene. Which gives me the better eco footprint? Click, click, click. Oh, there's my answer. Polycarbonate, number 1.